The New York Jets have their new offensive coordinator, and it's got the fan base divided. Let's talk about it. And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watsu-K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So let's get right into this. So today, the New York Jets hired Nathaniel Hackett as their new offensive coordinator. You know, when Robert Saleh was looking for a new OC, he wanted, I think, all the things that Mike LaFleur wasn't giving. He wanted an experienced play caller more than anything. He wanted an OC who could work with even just decent quarterback play and lift that quarterback up. Commitment to the run, an innovative teacher. I think that's what he was really looking for. And he interviewed, they said, I think between 15 and 20 candidates, pros, college, experienced, inexperienced. But Nathaniel Hackett is who the job was offered to, and he took it. Now, what I'm seeing, and I knew based off the way that Hackett crashed and burned as the head coach of the Denver Broncos, there would be some angry Jets fans. But come on, I'm seeing people on social media talking about this is like the adamgase hire. This is the hire that is going to completely undo everything that Joe Douglas has been building for the last 3 years. Nathaniel Hackett is going to kill this offense. He's going to turn, Breece Hall into you name the running back. He'll turn him into Cedric Houston. He'll turn Garrett Wilson into Ryan Yarborough, for crying out loud. That kind of a level. Guys, we have to breathe for a moment. I know relaxing as a Jets fan is a concept that is foreign to us. It is foreign to me as well. But relax. He is not being hired as the head freaking coach. This is a coach, this is an offensive coordinator specifically, who's been successful with two completely different styles of offense. The running in Jacksonville and the passing in Green Bay. Now, let's talk about it a little bit more. So Hackett is 43 years old. He's got quite a history with Robert Saleh. The two worked together in Jacksonville in 2015 and 16, back when Saleh coached the linebackers and Hackett coached the quarterbacks. Now, Hackett became offensive coordinator under Doug Marrone from 2016 to 2018, where he did call the plays. But the highlight of his time in Jacksonville was the 2017 season. It's probably the highlight of the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise when they reached the AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles as their quarterback. Think about it. An offense led by Blake Bortles finished 5th in scoring in the NFL with 26 points per game. They reached the AFC Championship game. We all know they should have won it, but that's another story for another time. So Nathaniel Hackett did that with Blake Bortles as his quarterback. Adam Gase did his work with Peyton Manning, the best quarterback of this generation. Come on. And the Broncos didn't even win the Super Bowl until Gase was out the door and on his way to Chicago. Okay, so comparing them as head coaches would be pointless because if I wasn't clear about this, Hackett's not the head coach. So what he did in Denver, to me, it does not factor into what he's going to do now with the New York Jets. So then in 2018, the Jaguars slipped a little bit. They went down to 31st in scoring, 15.3 points per game. Okay, they plummeted. So then he was gone after that and wound up in Green Bay. And then Hackett was the offensive coordinator from 2019 to 2021 under Matt LaFleur, who, as we all know, very close to Robert Saleh. Now, Hackett was not the play caller in Green Bay, but Aaron Rodgers, you may have heard of him. He's a pretty good quarterback. He's been in the news lately. He was closer really to Hackett than he was Matt LaFleur by all accounts in Green Bay. And the Packers won 13 games each year that Hackett was there from 2019 to 2021. They had top 10 offenses his final 2 seasons. And in 2020, they had the #1 scoring offense in the NFL. And if you want to talk about DVOA, one of the more advanced metrics, Green Bay's offense ranked 7th, 1st, and 2nd in those 3 seasons. Now, if you're down on Nathaniel Hackett because of what happened in Denver, I'll leave the head coach argument out of it for a little bit. But if you're down on him because he couldn't get a good offense going with Russell Wilson, well, you know what? Maybe it was on Russell Wilson at this point. Russell Wilson arrived in Denver, and he basically told the coaching staff what he did want to do and what he didn't want to do. And Hackett basically succumbed to the political game. He succumbed to politics. Because when you think about who has pull and who doesn't have pull, let's see. On one hand, you've got the first-time head coach in his early 40s And on the other hand, you've got the player you just signed to a $250 million contract. Who's going to win out? I think we all know the answer to that one. And look at Seattle's offense. You know, Seattle was using basically the same this past year, used the same offense that they used previously. You know, they changed out the quarterbacks, and yes, you had a new running back, and you had 2 new tackles. But still, that offense was dynamic this season, and it was with Geno Smith at quarterback. So maybe the problem in Denver wasn't as Hackett as much as it was Russell Wilson. Crazy it is to think. But where Russell Wilson now is in his career, you know, Hackett just was in a no-win situation. I think it may have come down to that. Now here, if I have one issue with Hackett, it's something that in a way is a little bit silly. It's the fact that I couldn't stand his father when he was the Jets offensive coordinator way back when, from 2001 to 2004, because Paul Hackett was the most conservative play caller I've ever seen in my life. He's the one who taught me as a kid to hate coordinators. I mean, if you thought Mike LaFleur wasn't creative this year, I mean, Paul Hackett, oh my gosh, it was run Curtis, run Curtis, run Curtis, one of the greatest running backs of all time. He ran a version of the West Coast offense even when he had Vinny Testaverde as the starting quarterback. If there ever was a quarterback who was not built to play in the West Coast offense, it was Vinny freaking Testaverde. It's just ridiculous. And even in 2004, their last year, Curtis Martin led the league in rushing yards with almost 1,700, and the Jets still only finished 17th in scoring. You know, the Jets, while he was there, they finished kind of in the middle of the league in scoring. But, you know, when you've got talent on your team like Curtis Martin and Lamont Jordan, Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Coles, Santana Moss at different times, and your offensive line has Jason Fabini, Randy Thomas, Kevin Mawai, Dave Zott, Kareem McKenzie. You know, it's pretty hard to have a bad offense at that point. But the tight ends were virtually invisible in that offense. I mean, even Santana Moss, he was barely used. You know, after a breakout 1,000-yard season, and then he got traded to Washington, and now he's remembered more as a Redskin than he is as a Jet. To me, I'm fine with Hackett. Jets fans wanted an experienced offensive coordinator, and that's exactly what they have now. So, at the end of the day, let's see what happens in terms of getting the quarterback. Everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers, about this is one more step to the Jets getting Aaron Rodgers. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon yet. I'm not convinced yet that it's going to happen. It very well could, but even if it doesn't, you still have a number of quarterbacks out there who can fit the job very, very well. There's different types of compensation. There's different types of risks. There's no such thing as a perfect quarterback candidate that's available for the Jets to have. And you might be on Team Lamar Jackson. You might be on Team Aaron Rodgers. You might be on Team Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, if you're on Team Tom Brady, take a hike, because I can't imagine any Jets fan who in their right mind would actually take Tom effing Brady on this team. So I'm fine with the Hackett signing, but at the end of the day, it's going to be all about who they bring in as quarterback, because Hackett will only look as good as the starting quarterback allows him to. Well, I want to get your thoughts on the Nathaniel Hackett signing. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Did you want to bring somebody else in? And Frank Reich was clearly not an option. Congrats to him for getting the head coach job in Carolina. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.